So we're back, and I read an article today on theguardian.com titled, "Gun Ownership is Not a Human Right." The context of the article was that gun ownership doesn't really meet any of the standards we use to define a human right. The intellectual moron even went so far as to say, and I quote, "It's not even a civil right, even though a section of the Constitution appears to suggest that the founders intended to protect, you named it, a civil right." So, here's the thing. The author continues by saying a human right has to do with something intrinsic to who you are as a human being and your most basic needs. Healthcare, food, housing, water are human rights. They're all critical things that human beings need to stay alive. God, I get so sick of the self-righteous, over-pontificating intellectual morons thinking life only exists in Frappuccino coffee cups and your vacuum of underdeveloped life experiences. The Constitution doesn't give me any rights. It was written to remind people like you that my right to life is inherent, so that when you start trying to progress this country to the point of a mental deficiency, we have things in place like guns to stop them. Now, I know you don't like hearing that because it messes with your feels, but telling someone they don't have the inherent right to use the most commonly used effective tool to protect life, to protect theirs, is mind-numbing. So how about telling the founders of this country they didn't have an inherent right to guns when they fought for this country's freedom during the Revolution? How about telling the black people living in the South in the 60s that they didn't have an inherent right to a gun when the KKK was burning crosses on their lawns and lynching black people on sight? Or how about telling the mother who hid in her closet with her daughter wrapped in her left arm and a gun in her right hand, she doesn't have a right to own a firearm after she shot a guy who kicked in her front door, came in and tried to kill her? See, this is the issue that I have with a lot of these people who spend time pontificating about the merits of the Second Amendment. We don't need to pontificate about it. We don't need to think about it. It is inherently what it is. I have a right to life. And if I don't have the ability to effectively defend that life, then no, I don't have that inherent right. And as we all understand it, the gun is the most effective tool to protect our lives with. So unless you're telling me we live in a country or we live in a time where there's no violence, there's no criminals, there's nobody threatening my life, I don't see how anyone could possibly say that I and me and everybody else in this country don't have an inherent right to own a firearm. And at the end of the day, it really borders on the line of being disgusting. Because all of the other things that he named in this article telling me that I have an inherent right to own are based on the same concepts as the firearm. What good is a house if I can't protect the house against people who are trying to come in and maybe hurt me or trying to do something bad to my house? What good are inherent rights if I don't have a Second Amendment right to protect the first right that I'm pretty sure you feel you have an inherent right to? But people undervalue that concept. So quickly we look to the Second Amendment and act as if it's just disposable. But yet we have something like the First Amendment and everybody stands up and screams in protection of it, not realizing that the Second Amendment right is the very thing protecting that First Amendment right. Again, if I don't have the right to effectively protect myself, i.e. with a firearm, then I don't inherently have a right to life. So pontificate on that for a second while you drink your mocha, frappe, latte, cappuccino, Molino, grande, whatever. I forgot the name of those things. And when we come back from break, I'm going to answer some of you guys' questions. And also, I posed a question on Facebook earlier today, basically asking, what should gun owners be most afraid of this Halloween?